Before we start the video, how much money do you think we'll get in the end? 700? 1 million? 1,420,069 pesetas? Well, let's find out. Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, I'll try to get as much money as possible in a single playthrough. Of course, before we do that, there are some rules I need to follow. First, I must start from a new game and not New Game Plus. Second, since the goal is to find the maximum money possible, I decided that the DLC content should be allowed. That means that the treasure map and the 2 DLC weapons are allowed, but no bonus weapons or extra accessories, so it can become more challenging. So without any further ado, let's get started. I decided to play on the assisted difficulty for a number of reasons, mainly because some prices are better in here, and also we get the most drops from enemies. I came in here for one reason. We need money. Dash said we need one more score and it's done. The future of the whole gang depends on me and I do not plan to disappoint. So our journey begins in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. I went in to collect some owed money.
You speak English? I don't speak German neither. I'm here for money. Money.
So for this run, my plan is to collect all treasures in the game, of course, and to also use only the weapons I get, so I won't be buying any weapons because that is just a waste of money. I also decided to not upgrade any weapons. I know that you get most of the upgrade money back when you sell the weapon, but again, I'm trying to get the absolute maximum, so I cannot afford to lose any. When I got to the village, I went straight to the farm door and killed the chainsaw guy in there as fast as I can. Then I went to the house you normally go to in order to trigger the cutscene and spawn another chainsaw guy. This way I can get his treasure twice.
That is kinda brilliant.
After committing genocide on the poor village and stealing everything they have, I ended up with some grenades and flashes, so I decided to sell those as well. I also got a few resources, and since I only have access to a pistol and a shotgun, the large resources were pretty useless to me, at least for now. But instead of selling them to the merchants, I always craft rifle or SMG ammo and sell it for a much higher price. You can argue that it's not much better, because I also use the gunpowder, but I don't need much of it anyway because this is assisted difficulty and there is plenty of ammo everywhere. I arrived to find Louis tied up in a bag, and when I tried to help him, the big chief of the village arrived and he breaks my back for robbing his entire village, and then he takes all my stuff. Great. After we wake up, I get all my stuff back, and here we meet the merchant.
Over here, stranger.
We sell him the ammo and grenades to clear some space, and I come across another chainsaw guy, but I use the traps he set up for me against him, and he goes down pretty easily.
Sorry, must have slipped.
When I finally arrived at the first target practice, I tried to get the Rhinoceros Beetle Charm, which allows you to sell aerial healing items for double the price. And I've been collecting all these first aid kits and red, green, yellow herb mixes, and I started experimenting how to get the charm, because they spawn in a specific order every time you play a new game. There are many videos explaining how it works. Sadly, I didn't get it this time because there are only 3 target challenges available, and I just didn't get enough tokens. But I got something else that was really helpful. It is the Merchant Charm. This charm gives you a 5% discount on all weapon upgrades. In the beginning I didn't think much of it, but I found out this. Normally, if I try to sell Essential 9 for example, you can see it's worth 7,500 pesetas, and after I put 55,000 pesetas worth of upgrades, I should be able to sell it for 62,000 pesetas. But you can see it's less than that, because you get most of the upgrade money back, not all of it. But when you put this charm on, you see all of the money comes back, meaning that the merchant gives you 95% of your upgrade money back, and when you use this charm, it gives you a 5% discount, so you're only paying 95% of the upgrade money and you get it all back, meaning that with this charm on, you get all of the upgrade money back when you sell the weapon. And the rest of the village was pretty straightforward. I made sure to break all the barrels on the lake and I got the red 9 so I can sell it later, and I also got the beetle, which sells for 10k and can be sold for 20k when you have the charm. I finally got Ashi and we made our way to Mendez's house and we broke into his attic to steal everything in there. I also did all the merchant requests. I thought the dog was going to be annoying to kill, but it was pretty easy. When we're trying to escape the village, we meet again with Mendez and he's not happy with us robbing his place, and then he tried to kill me. But it wasn't much of a challenge on this difficulty and I defeated him quickly. And I stole one last thing from him as a souvenir. Just kidding, I'll sell it as soon as possible. I finally reached the castle, and this place is going to take much more time because there is a lot of backtracking to do in here in order to get all treasures. We finally meet Salazar and he demands that I hand over the girl, which I of course accepted, but for the right price. But he didn't seem to like my offer very much, so he sent a bunch of people after me. After we finished dinner with them, Ashley got upset because I tried to sell her and she stole my knife and stabbed me with it. Then she ran away. And here I start fishing for a bit and I also get the second beetle and proceed to try and find Ashley. I did manage to find her again and I decided to protect her this time because her father is a president and he can pay much more than Salazar ever will. Besides, I'm also robbing Salazar, so that wouldn't make any difference. I reached the second target practice mission and I still didn't get the beetle charm. So I did some backtracking with Ashley and then I got all the stats you had and proceeded to Ashley's section. The clock puzzle is always the same, so I could have skipped most of this section, but I needed to get all the treasures in here and I also needed to unlock the stairs in order to get the CQBR because I need to sell that at the end of the game. So I did it normally, I got the weapon and I went ahead and defeated the Golden Knight. Around here I got an idea. I usually use the kitchen knives until they're one hit away from breaking and then sell them for some pennies. So I had the idea of buying the bolt recipe and crafting those arrows and selling them for much more. I know I said no buying at the beginning of the video, but I think this is an investment. I tried experimenting with it, trying to buy different recipes, but I think this is the only one that's worth it. I can use the knives until they're almost done, then use them to craft the arrows. I reached Verdugo and thank God I had the CQBR, because this guy is so tanky and he would have taken all my ammo. I think that he has the biggest HP out of all the enemies. That's why we need the nitrogen, so the shots can do extra damage. Anyways, I defeat this guy who has a treasure more valuable than Salazar's, which is really weird considering that he's supposed to be Salazar's butler. But we move along and we meet Lewis and hang out with him for a while. And we finally get the beetle charm so we can sell all of our mixed herbs. And then we say goodbye to Lewis. He was a good man. He even showed us where they dug out the bugs. Then we do some more backtracking, throw an egg on Salazar's painting, then I take the elevator to go for Salazar, and I made sure to let everyone jump in the elevator so I can kill them and take their money. I finally reached Salazar. In here I had a golden egg that I could use on him, and that removes about 70% of his health and it stuns him. But I couldn't throw something so valuable like this because with the beetle charm now it sells for 18,000 pesetas. Here I realized I did a small mistake, and that is that I did the merchant request on the village where the merchant asks you to sell him a golden egg, and I should have waited for the charm so I can sell it for double the price, but I sold it early so that's 9k just gone. Anyways, I defeat Salazar pretty easily and I went ahead to the island, killing everyone I come across until I see a cell where they're holding Ashley. I go searching for the key and here we meet the friendly neighborhood regenerators. And without the rifle he was really tanky, but I managed to kill the first one. And before I encounter any more of these lovely creatures, I got the RE5 SMG. And this was a big help because it can penetrate through these guys directly to their plagas. I kill the guy in here, then I finally get the biosensor scope to find which one has the wrench. And of course, now that I have both the RE5 and the scope, I killed all 4 of them and took all of their treasures, but I made sure to kill only one at a time. We finally get the keycard that can unlock Ashley's door and we continue on our way. And that's where we find the last target practice area. And after beating all the challenges, we get yet another good charm, and that is Lewis. This one gives me 20% weapon resale value, which is really useful for this challenge. We continue our way and we meet the Iron Maiden, which was not that bad, especially with the RE5 and the scope. And we protect Ashley as she uses the wrecking ball to destroy a wall that's blocking our way. And I know I could have used some heavy grenades in here to make the process much faster, but as I said in the beginning of the video, I prefer to sell those to the merchants. I also need to kill all the people in here so I can get the maximum drops. After we finally finish this part, we go back to kill the strong Iron Maiden for the merchant request, and he didn't stand a chance against the RE5 with his scope.
Welcome.
We continue our way to meet Sadler, who is the leader of all these people, and he takes Ashley from us one more time. And after we meet Krauser, who's the guy to kidnap Ashley in the first place, he demands to pay him 1 million to help us get Ashley back.
Ridiculous!
He was very angry with our response, so he pulled out his gun and he started shooting. And of course, I didn't forget to get the last beetle in here. I finally beat Krauser and we head on to the heart of the military island. And here we finally get some backup that helped us clear most of the area. And I made sure to kill everyone in here to get the maximum drops. Then we decided to do a little celebration.
Drinks are on me. I know a
But before we do any of that, the chopper was destroyed by Sadler, and I swore to get vengeance on this man. Before I left the area, I did the final mercenary quest in here, and then proceeded to fight a few more regenerators, and I faced one final resistance from these people before heading to a shrine where Ashley is being held. I get her back and get the treasure in here, and we finally reached the last merchant of the game. At this point, I barely had any money on me, because I didn't sell any treasures yet, and I used all the money I got from drops to upgrade the weapons I have. But that was all going to get back now. So this is the moment of truth. Throughout this playthrough, I did all of the mercenary quests, and the only things I traded from the merchants were treasures and a yellow herb, because all of the other stuff are pretty cheap and not worth trading. So I ended up with a total of 92 spinels, and we traded them all for blue velvets. And each one of these sells for 2500 pesetas. So those requests were definitely worth it. I also needed to figure out the best treasure combination possible, because ideally if I put yellow diamonds and red barrels on everything, that would give me the best value. But that is simply not possible, because these gems are so rare and I have many treasures and it just wouldn't be enough. So after many trials and calculations, I found the best way is to start filling the treasures from the most to the least expensive. So the best gems go with the best treasures. And always go for the highest color multiplier for each treasure, not the highest value. For example, I sold the crowns for 100,000 rather than 108,000 pesetas, because it was better to use those gems on different treasures. And I sold literally everything I had on me. The only thing I was left with is a boot knife to kill Sadler, and that's exactly what I did. I used it on him non-stop, and whenever he attacks, I just dodge his attack and start stabbing him again. Then I looted the area to find more money and one more knife and a grenade that helped me finish him off. And we finally got out of this place, making some cool tricks along the way to make a few extra bucks, and the final amount we got was 3,076,490 pesetas.
We still need money!
So after all that, Dutch still wasn't happy with the money we made, but I had a little trick up my sleeve. You see, this challenge is how much money I can get in one playthrough, but if we cheat a little bit just to see what's truly the maximum you can get, there's a trick we can do. On this difficulty, first aid kits are really cheap. They cost 3,000 and sell for 1,500, and there is no limit to how much you can buy, unlike harder difficulties. So I used all my money to buy and store those kits. And since I got a lot of money, I can buy more than 1,000 kits, and I had to buy them and store them one by one. And since I didn't upgrade my inventory at all, I can only carry so much before having to go to the storage and store them again. So with my current inventory, I had to do this process like 100 times in the middle of buying 1,000 kits. So yeah, if you like the video, a subscription would be much appreciated. After reaching 999 kits on the storage, I found out that that's the limit on how much you can store. But thankfully I had enough room in my storage to store the rest. And after that I finished the game and went to New Game Plus. And I chose the professional difficulty. And we want to sell them on this merchant. Normally on Pro you can buy those kits for 10k and sell them for 5k. And since we only bought them for 3k on the last playthrough, we can make a huge profit. Especially because we still have the Beetle Charm and we're able to sell them for 10k. And that brings us to a total of 10,227,490 pesetas, which is an absolutely ridiculous amount to get.
Come back anytime.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, because as you can probably tell, it took me a while to do, but it was pretty fun. So if you want to see me do more like it, you can tell me down in the comments, because I read all of them. And you can check out my channel and subscribe if you like it, because that would be really helpful and much appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and peace.